Welcome back, Sam here, and today I wanted to explain to you the 3 top foods that I recommend for manipulating your macronutrient levels. So your levels of fats, protein and carbohydrate in your meal plans and diets, and even when you're kind of not in a structured plan, if you want to adjust the levels, these would be the easiest ways to do it, or the ones that I recommend. Now, stay all through to the end, and I'm going to recommend a bunch of alternatives as well that may suit you better. But I'm going to explain my top 3 choices, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit and improve your meal plans and management of macros today. So starting with the fats, my choice food for varying the level of fats in your meal plans is eggs. So they're more fat by calorie than anything else, and you can either adjust the amount of fat in the diet by the amount of eggs that you have overall, or you can be more precise with it by adding in or taking out more yolks. And in another video I'll show you the technique for taking the yolks out of these if you don't want to spend too much extra money on the liquid egg white products that they do now. You can do it cheaper with just your regular eggs. So fat goes up and down in the diet most effectively, in my view, by number of eggs, or taking in or adding or taking out the number of yolks. Now, alternatives here would have been nut butters. A lot of bodybuilders are keen to use nut butters, which are high fat, and they can control the amount of fat in their meal plans by how much of the nut butter they're having. But these are less rich in micronutrients than egg yolks, so they would be second choice for me. And not everyone finds them as digestible when you're in high quantity with the nut butters. So that's an alternative. Another alternative would be your fatty fish, but the fattier fish, I think, not as rich in micronutrients again, and also they tend to be the smellier ones like anchovies and mackerel, and that just stinks your house out, and not a good idea on date night when you've got the fish breath and stuff like that. So again, an alternative, but not one that I necessarily recommend. So top choice for fats up and down in the diet, the eggs or egg yolks. Moving on, carbohydrates. The number 1 choice for taking up or down the level of carbohydrate in your meal plans is white rice, and I like jasmine white rice in particular. Reason for this is it's another whole food. Now, it's nowhere near as nutritious as the eggs, but no carbohydrate foods are, to be honest. But I've settled on this one because it's one that most people find most digestible in high quantity. And when we're bodybuilding, we often eat more than most people. So any effect of how digestible it is amplified because of the volume that's going through regularly, well, daily, when we're in a very structured plan. So white rice rather than brown rice, because brown rice has the husk and that makes it harder to digest. And rice over things like oats, which are almost, well, mostly carbohydrate. Because of the gluten factor, and again digestibility, it seems from experience that white rice is the preferred. An alternative like the oats or like your carbohydrate powders would be something like cream of rice. That's basically just white rice flour and flavourings, but again, those artificial flavourings, often sucralose, they can make people bloated and stuff like that. So number 1 choice from me, having considered the alternatives that would be macro similar for controlling the macronutrients in your meal plans, the white rice. Third and final of the top 3 foods for controlling your macros in your meal plans, for the protein, is the chicken breast. It's almost entirely protein. And there are a lot of alternatives that are considered here. You could go for turkey breast as well. So it has to be the breast, like the other cuts of the chicken, like the wings and the legs, they're higher fat content. The one that's almost all protein is the breast. So you could have gone with the turkey breast instead, but I don't find it in the shops as much, so it wouldn't be as a reliable choice, but it'd be pretty much interchangeable. Then other protein foods, you've got whey powder, but again, digestibility doesn't suit everyone so much. Chicken, for most people, more digestible, even though it's harder to eat a little bit more of it because it's chewy, but depends how you cook it. Another alternative would be all of the white fish. So the more tasteless the meat is, the more high protein it is and lower fat or almost no fat. So the almost no fat ones would be the poultry, that's the breast, or the kind of tasteless fish like your tilapia and stuff like that. But again, like the turkey breast, harder to find sometimes the tilapia, and I find that most people find all the different flavourings that you could use, like herbs and spices, even ones that are designed for gym goers without the added salt and sugar, like the Gym Chef stuff, much more compatible and sensible flavourings that work and cook easily with chicken than they do fish, and for most people's palates. So those would be the alternatives, and why I settled on this almost pure protein choice for taking the protein up and down your diet. So those are your top three. And that is why I'm going to call those the macro mastery triumvirate, if you like. And I'm going to show you more recipes for how to use them and more detail on all the foods in due course. Cheers.